called Bernice Potts. I was born at Charles Council Hospital. That was an old hospital that was, I think that was especially made for the Native people in Alberta and, I don't know, I think the States, no, not the States, sorry. Northern Canada anyway. I grew up here in Alexis First Nation. That's what it was called, and then eventually they changed it to Alexis Nakota Sioux Nation. My parents are the late Paul and Nancy Potts. They grew up here as well.
So tell me a little bit about your childhood. How many siblings did you have?
I have 13. I had 13 siblings, 14 with me. I have 8 brothers and 5 sisters, 6 with me, and I'm the 13th child of the 14 children.
Wow.
I think for our family, we were close-knitted. My parents kind of kept us isolated from a lot of things. Maybe it's because we had no vehicle or whatever, but they were very faithful and very cultural parents, and who believe in a lot of strong principles and morals. Our house was a stucco house. It was one of the older homes in the community. It had 2 bedrooms inside, no running water. Inside there was a wood stove that kept the heat, and my mom did her cooking on. We had a pump water, I think they call it a pump today. Well, we called it a pump, just right outside where we had to pump water to, to use. It was a nice home. It was always filled with kids though, because my mom had a lot of kids, and maybe that was what only our community could afford, to build homes for the families here, because a lot of people had a lot of kids back then.
Yeah, did it feel like there was a lot of love around you?
Yes, a
nice.
lot. Because like my dad raised or supported our family, our huge family, being a woodcutter. And I think because he was pretty good in what he did a lot of wood cutting for the community and everybody else, and we end up being called the Bunions, like.
Oh, really?
Because my dad was a woodcutter, and I think that's how we got our name, because they always, like, the community calls us the Bunions, and we kind of grew up with that name, I guess, attached to our family.
Yeah. Where did your dad work? Like, did he work on the nation, or?
Well, my dad, at first he was a woodcutter, like I just mentioned earlier, and then eventually he became, start to help people build homes in our community, just developing the community and that. And he was a very good man, and then he ended up retiring to be, my dad also, I just wanted to share this, he also helped the communities around us develop their homes, not their homes, but their land, like, picking rocks, roots, building their fences and planting trees all around us. You'll see certain areas where he worked, and you can see a lot of the planting that they did, him and his relatives around here. You can see a lot of it. And once I know he went to work, because my mom shared this story with us, he worked way by Lethbridge, by where the Blackfoot people live.
So did your mom mention, like, the kind of relationship that they had with people they worked with off nation?
Yeah, there were. I'm just going to share this one story. Sure. It was right close to Sangadoo or Merithorpe. I, as a child, remember my parents bringing us over there, and they worked for this farmer, and we were camped at the end of the field, and it was my late Uncle Peter, my dad's best friend, that worked there with us. And I remember them being gone, and like my mom watched us from a distance because we're just camping that field area. and they were picking the roots and rocks out of newly developed, not developed, but they dug and whatever for that field, and I'm not sure what they were using it for. I don't remember, but I'm sure it's probably for wheat or potatoes or something.
Yeah.
And I remember in the evening, there was a lady, the white lady, she would come and see my mom and bring her a chicken and, warm milk, but I didn't like the milk. It was so
Do you remember when they started farming here? Like, you were young?
I was really young. I remember my parents bringing us to the farm. We had a farmhouse in the community, and it was operated by the late Lawrence Mustas.
Oh, okay.
I always think he was a cowboy, or he operated the farm. There was a building there that was like a cabin. It was very beautiful. I just remember sitting there. My dad and some other people would help him, and I think it was just the community trying to, have their own farm area where it would maybe sustain us with, food products or money or something. But at the north end, at the west end, they called it Pashna, and Lawrence was there with his family raising the cattle.
Yeah.
It was, I'm not going to say what kind of cows it was, because I don't remember. I don't remember the colors. But I think it did help the community in a way at that time. I'm not sure how they distributed the whatever they made out of the cows.
Yeah.
But we did have a farm, and that was, I think, was exciting for our community. And then other people started having their own farms in our community. I would just use my late cousin Thomas. He started raising cattle too, and horses. So
interesting.
But not everybody had that, but I think everybody, accordingly, everybody was supposed to have those agricultural, benefits.
Yeah.
And they didn't all do that. Maybe they just weren't able to, or maybe the land wasn't available. I'm not sure.
Interesting. So what kind of meat do you remember eating as a child? Or you remember your parents hunting?
My parents always hunted.
Yeah.
Throughout the whole year, but there's different times where they had harvest time, which was in the summer, and throughout our years, or my years that I remember when I was young, we ate a lot of moose, beavers, bear, muskrat, rabbits, ducks, and fish.
Yeah.
A lot of that was preserved to, we of course we ate it then too, but throughout the winter they had to preserve a lot of it so we can have something to eat. But the more that I didn't like bear.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Should you ever eat bear? Because this is too rich.
Oh, you think so? I liked it.
I don't know if I've only liked moose. I rarely like even deer because of the taste it left in my mouth. But we had to eat it, right? Because that was our source of food.
Yeah.
I love rabbit and ducks. And I remember my mom used to bring us along this lake. Plus, there was this little pond by our place where we used to get duck eggs. And they were so tiny, and they're so, beautiful, the colors of the eggs. It's not like how it's white and brown today. It's just like they did a painting on the eggs. Oh my God, maybe that's what tastes good. And that was our food source, especially the moose. They used to smoke it a lot. We had a lot of dry meat and smoked meat, and just the smell of the hickory was so good. They used certain wood, my mom and them, I think. Especially when they do the hides and stuff like that from it. It was a certain aroma, when you go out to harvest. I remember as little kids, we went to my grandparents' trap line all the time. And they made sure they never left the hide out. Like today, they don't do much of that.
Yeah.
Maybe they just leave it out there. Maybe some people do their hides, but back then they never left anything out. Everything was used. Cut lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there used to even be berries during that time, even though they cut through it. Because I remember we used to find a big berry, like low bush blueberries. I think they're bigger than blueberries, so. But anyway, there used to be lots of them on those cut lines. I still remember because while the men went out hunting, my mom and the female used to bring us out to go pick berries.
Yeah.
And it was on those cut lines, not in the bush.
Yeah.
And maybe in their time they did a lot of it in the bush.
Yeah.
Because there was rare cut lines. But we used to find berries like huckleberries, like there's these berries that look like blackberries, but they were red. They used to call them chopsapsine. And I don't know I don't know what the English word for that is. But we used to pick a lot of those out there.
Yeah. Are those berries you can still see today, or it's been a while?
It's been a while since I've seen any, because where we used to berry pick is kind of, there's nothing there. Like past my brother Gordon's, we used to pick a lot of nuts that were really sweet, kind of, and I can't remember what they're like. They taste like wild nuts, but they're wild. Actually, they're green. And what we do is just suck the juice out of them, and then open the nut, and there's a little, it looks like a walnut.
Really? I think I actually know what you're talking about. I found one tree when I was a child, but I've never seen it again.
Yeah, they grew past my brother's house right by the cut line, but they've been doing a lot of spraying around there, and I think it took a lot of our berries away, like the pin cherries, a lot of that used to grow there, blueberries. It was like there's berries galore growing around my brother's place.
Yeah.
Blueberries and then those green berries, what do they call them now? Gooseberries. Oh my God, those were good. That grew a lot.
Yeah.
And those things hardly exist anymore. Like those huckleberries, strawberries was just a lot just on the side of the road where we live. And then there was raspberry patches all over. Those don't exist anymore. There was a lot by my grandma's place. And I can't say why, but I know there's been a lot of spraying around the cut lines, so it might have eventually throughout the years killed, the berries around there, the roots. Maybe the environment was the whole environment, land base was probably ruined.
Yeah. Where the berries used to be at the trap line, like it's all cleared now. It's just open space, or?
Well, I haven't even been to that trap line for many, many, many years since my parents have been gone.
Yeah.
But when I went out there, there's a lot of construction going on there. A lot of the trees are cut down. There's it doesn't look like it's private anymore, like how it used to be when we were younger. We can just, my parents can just camp us anywhere. And it was so beautiful, but today there's lots of activity being taken place out there.
Yeah. What year was that you remember the last time you were out there?
About 2 years ago. We went to a lot of those places, even in Whitecourt. That's lots of...
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was saying, oh my God.
Yeah.
One day this is not even going to be there for our kids, because no matter, even if they do the reforestation and everything, and nothing is the same.
Yeah.
Even if the trees grow, we still won't have our berries, or especially our berries, and a lot of the medicines our people use. Spoken up to really fulfill the laws that they set there for us. Or the benefits, I should say benefit, not the laws. And actually, it was the law to us and of the benefits that we're actually supposed to receive. And many people don't have trap lines in our community. Our family doesn't. Eventually, we lost out, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. I just want to go back to when you picked berries. Did you guys preserve berries for the winter?
I think they preserve mostly blueberries, raspberries, and sometimes cranberries.
How did they do that?
They canned them.
Oh, they canned them.
Some people froze their blueberries.
Yeah.
And some people just made jam or they canned them.
Huh.
Yeah. Eat raspberries all the time.
Yeah.
Go pick it for my great grandmother who lived in a cabin. She died when she was almost 100 years old.
Wow.
And she probably because she lived on natural foods that wasn't, that was just natural.
Yeah. Yeah. So did she speak English as well, or just Stony?
I only remember her speaking Stony.
Cool.
She might have spoke English, but not to us.
Yeah, yeah.
Just as they're blooming, when you're taking the berry out, there's medicine underneath.
Nice.
Yeah.
In the roots.
In the roots. And she said you have to believe in it in order for it to work.
Yeah.
Because like everything else, she said, even the medicines the doctors give you and everything, you have to believe it works because your mental and your spiritual being have a lot to do with the way your body is.
Yeah.
They work together. If you believe something, then it happens for you.
So when you talk about medicines, you don't need to mention any because I understand that that's not something that we need to talk about, but as berries have become less plentiful, have medicines become scarce? Are there some that no longer grow?
Well, I can't give you much information on that because the ones that I know, just say the the one I shared with you with strawberries.
Yeah.
My mom, I just need to share that because she said that you have to share these things. Because if you don't share them, why know?
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because she said, why know about these things? She said, we're the ones that lose it ourselves because we don't exercise or practice or share things. You don't do that, then you lose all. If you don't like our language, if we don't speak our language, it's going to go away because we speak too much of other languages, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't think there's many things that is practiced as often or is picked as often. Just certain people I know, like my friend Dina, I know she always, in my generation, she is one of the few I know that always goes and picks things. Maybe it's just part of their family. There's not as much growing as there should be. A lot of things kill things. Look at here, people used to always pick sweet grass. Right along over here by the bridge, you could just smell it. You can rarely smell it now, and maybe just certain times of the year when it's supposed to be picked in, around June.
Yeah.
And you can even smell the rat roots. You can't smell that as much anymore. A lot of it used to be picked around here. But maybe because of the lake and all the things that it's taken so far, keeps that scent away, or maybe it doesn't grow as much. I can't tell you that, but because when we were kids, we can just smell anything.
Yeah.
Like even the fish, by the graveyard.
Yeah.
The fish used to just spawn like crazy. Us kids used to just grab those things by hand and just be. It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
Everything has changed so much since we were kids. We can't even teach our kids some of those things. Today, it just seems like it's not like that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Would you guys fish out of the stream as well as Birch Lake or Wakomne? Like where did you go?
We fished at the bridge with hooks
Yeah.
or with fishing rods for those that can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
But where I know the Pashna people used to do, did you ever see that creek that's kind of dry? Lots used to go through there.
Like by Cameron's house?
No, maybe there too. And the other one is just right here by the graveyard. That was really big.
Yeah.
The culvert was really big. We used to even walking through there or crawling through there as kids. And the fish used to just be going really fast, and we used to like catch them
Really?
by hand.
Do you remember what kind of fish were there? Like what kind of fish they were?
I only remember whitefish and jackfish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, fish was really good around here before. Lots. Like I remember they used to call these older men who were like bachelors or something.
Mm-hmm.
They used to call them the fishermen. They used to fish for the community. And where our new offices, they had a little area there where they would smoke fish and everything. And
Cool.
yeah.
So everybody would kind of help each other. Do you think the community was more united back then?
I think so.
Yeah.
When they shared and stuff. Today, everything is just kind of commercialized.
Yeah.
It's not how it used to be. We kind of, like, I guess we don't exercise it. It just doesn't come as important anymore. That's how I feel anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. I wonder what, like, do you have maybe any idea, like, what changed that all? Was it, like, something political or just society becoming more consumers or, like, what do you think?
I think it has a lot to do with many things. It could be political, it could be the changes in the environment, it could be the changes in even our own homes, especially in our own homes. And it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
It's a lot of the changes in the world has a lot to do with it. The changes in society, even our social. But then again, at the same time, if there's not much to share, because like I said, if we don't exercise all these things, they'll be gone, and that's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
So if you don't make it exist in your life, then there's nothing to share.
Yeah. Would you like to see, like, programs being run to help families regain their roots? I guess.
I think so.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it's important that we do help families because not everybody is fortunate enough to have those resources. If you don't preserve things and share it, then you lose it.
Yeah.
Same thing, like you're gonna watch a banana go spoil because you're not eating it or whatever. Say, I'm gonna use myself an example. I share the best I can, especially with my grandchildren, because I didn't with my own children. I was young and wanting to, just get them into everything, make sure they're educated, things like that. But I find that all of a sudden it's so important to me that my grandchildren don't lose this.
Yeah.
Because there's only two of my children who can understand and speak our language.
Yeah.
There's one who tries really hard, who exercises as best he can, and it's my older daughter who can speak it, but she thinks people are going to laugh at her. I'm just saying this because I think as community members we need to work even harder.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it, saying our language, our culture, our land, our environment. We talk about it a lot, but we need to, action speaks louder than words. Like
Yes.
you said, is there anything that we can do to help our young people? Yes.
Yeah.
I think many people can help our young people in our community. But they make it more like a lecture than anything else.
Right.
They should say it should be a part of your life because you're born with it. Those natural instincts are in you. when you're talking about what do you think we should do, I think we should help and teach these kids to plant things like raspberry things out someplace. You know what I mean? Transplant some of these things. Maybe they'll grow here.
Right. Yeah.
You don't know because there's no blueberries or nothing. There used to be, like I said, there was lots around my brother's place, lots that we just loved to pick when we were kids. For me, the environment is important because that's what makes us live. Like look at what they just did at the four-way. I think that's good.
Yeah.
But we could do more.
Yeah.
And if you're here to help our community, try one of those in the summertime. Make the kids grow those things and transplant in their own areas, like their homes. One day, we ran out of water, right? And all the workers, like, they were gone. They were gone to the Canadians or something in Prince George, I think it was. And we started panicking. Why? We could have just, thought of some way to get our water, but at that point, I think for about an hour, we panicked.
Yeah.
And because our water is potable water now, it doesn't come from the ground like it used to. But I think even some of those we still have to have in case of emergencies, because all our water is run by electricity or something.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to teach our younger people what we can do.
I just have a question about your parents. Is there anything that your parents or grandparents told you about the future, maybe they predicted?
Actually, that's what I was going to share. Remember, I know lots of, my parents used to say it often enough that, we're going to buy our own water.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to tell you on that story when my grandchildren and my kids started like complaining that, getting scared, there's no water, right? And we end up buying our own water. That's what our parents meant. Like, we need to find a way, like, how do we, like, work with the land to get water when we have little moments like that.
Yeah.
And that's the truth. My parents always said one day we are going to buy our own water, and that one day is here.
Yeah. And
it's slowly going to get a little worse because water's going to deplete under pretty soon. It's dead. This is something I just want to share about my parents because most of this is environment. So people talk about water is life, but what are we going to do to preserve that? Because we are all buying our water. Our community's buying our water. We're buying our water from the city.
Yeah.
We pay those service fees. That's the scary part of it. Getting back to struggling with food, right? So I have nothing but moose meat. Doesn't matter to me, right? But my kids, moose meat. So we have to, like my grandchildren, I have to teach them that it's so important to make it their part of their diet, that a moose is important, or whatever animal that's wild out there that they can eat.
Yeah.
Because one day we are going to get to that point, like my parents said, like the water thing. We're already there.
Do you think that getting or having a course maybe for like trapping, it would help the children?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, because I don't know how to trap. I would love I teach my grandboys, especially the little ones. I think it's important. Anything to teach them about trapping and snaring. I know when I practice all those things, or when I do all those things, it makes me feel so good.
Yeah.
Or anything with the land, it makes me feel so good. But the problem that I had was when I was trying to make my own kids be a part of the world, the way the world is turning, the way the society is.
Yeah.
Making them go to school, getting them in the best sports, everything like that.
But you think about your children in a classroom all day, and you feel kind of hopeless on like how you navigate what they learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's very like natural to think that way, or for you to naturally feel like that's what you're supposed to do with your children. Yeah. Yeah.
As long as you exercise something in the home every day, though.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
prayer is so important. Like, it's how I get by every day, and I want my grandchildren to believe that too.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that mean like, you mean like culturally, like, is it associated with cultural side or like Catholic side? Are you Catholic?
On both.
Yeah.
I've just been raised up like that. That my
Yes.
spirit is so important.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I haven't always been healthy in that way.
Yeah.
But I know the more kids I have, the more grandchildren I have, it's so important for me to hang on to that. Especially like every time we do prayers, when we have family functions, I always try to make sure I pray in our language.
Nice. Yeah.
But when I talk to God, I talk to him in English.
And is there anything else you would like to add about, I'm going to ask you 3 questions about just being a woman, but I'll get to that after I ask you this question. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about, what we should be contributing to the community in terms of actionable items?
Yeah.
And is there anything you would like to mention about the environment that we haven't already kind of talked about?
I think it's important for you to share your information of your findings to our community. And I know they can't really change anything of your interviews or whatever, because that's people's opinions, voices in their life, right? Whatever it is they share with.
Yeah.
Just ask them what more they would like to learn, and let them know why this happened. And that's the best way for you to have a good relationship while you're programmed with our community. They might want you more, they might, it's important to give all our shareholders that information somehow. If you can't do it in a band meeting or whatever, just bring information to them to their homes. Because I see lots of people coming here, but we never get no reports. It just goes to chief and council.
Right.
Or to the program that you're working for.
Right, yeah.
And because you're gathering all this information from the community, just give it back to them.
Right. So to you, what does it mean to be a mother?
To me, I'm grateful to be a mother. It's important for a mother to do the best they can to nurture their child. I watch my mom. My mom, she had a lot of kids, and all her kids turned out okay. They turned out okay, and you got to be grateful to be a mother, because my mom used to always tell us, like, there's a human being growing inside you. Yeah. Think about that. That's a miracle. That's a miracle. You bring this child into this world. You got to watch what you do when you're pregnant. Be careful of the environment you bring them into, even though sometimes we forget. She said, be careful of what you're thinking or how you're feeling, especially when that baby's in your stomach. Be careful of what you're eating, and because you're feeding another human being. One of the greatest gifts I ever got. I tell my kids that, even though I raised some of my grandchildren. It's the best thing, the best gift, a miracle that you can't imagine. Do you imagine? Can you imagine your baby growing in your stomach? Like my mom used to say that to me, because she had so many of them, right? Yeah. And I love being a mother. It was a challenge for me, because I was younger. I was young. I wanted to have 6 kids before I was 30, because I didn't want to raise kids, when I was old. Yeah. But I'm raising my grandchildren. But still, it's just the most miraculous thing you can experience. You grow with your children, especially your first couple. Yeah. You grow with them. You learn things from them. You learn how to nurture your child. You learn to be responsible. You learn to be respectful along with your children, so you're teaching them. I never really knew what mom meant. She used to even tell me, I remember my second child, we used to go visit my mom because it was important for me, for my kids to know their grandmother, right? So we go to her place, and what I do, I put my cleanest blanket on her big living room floor. A big blanket, so my daughter can crawl around in there, she said. What's wrong with you? She said, my floor's not dirty, you. You put your blanket away. She said, your child is naturally supposed to experience all this dirt and everything so she can build stronger skin, like so she can fight off like scabies or whatever, she said to me. That was my lesson, but learning, that's what I meant. You learn as you grow, and my mom was sharing her experiences with me too. Being a mother is so important. Gift of life.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. That's very true. Yeah. And then one more question is, what do you value in life?
Me is living the best you can in the day. The best that you can in the day that God gives you. Because you don't just learn that. I mean, you just don't know that. You learn it throughout your years. Because I have relatives and myself too that wake up grouchy. Why? You just woke up.
Yeah.
I didn't learn that till I was older.
Yeah.
God gave you, like, what if you didn't get up? Right? And so you got up, enjoy it. You got to see your grandchildren. You got to eat porridge. Rick. That's why I always try to enjoy everything as best I can, and you can't do nothing about the past. That's one of the important things. What life means to me is enjoying the moment. So you're happy, so your kids will be happy. So they'll say, you know what, Grandma wasn't like always mad. Why are you mad? Like, life is important, very important. And especially me, I'm a great grandmother now, and I need to tell my grandchildren life is important. You live the best that you can that day. You use all the gifts that God gave you. It doesn't matter what it is, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a plumber, whether you're a welder, anything, whether you're a politician, you give it your best in life, because life is precious.
Do you have a family role?
Me?
Yeah, in your family? Like of your talents?
Yeah, I was a really good speaker, so I spoke on behalf of my family as I got older. My role probably was always to speak up, to defend, or to propose, or to speak, because I did a lot of my family's I used to be their master of ceremonies in weddings and things like that.
Yeah.
And I think I got that gift from my mom. My mom was a beautiful speaker. She spoke with her heart.
Nice.
She went to speak all over. She was always called someplace. I can never fill her shoes, but that gift I got from her.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I want to share something, about getting older and being an elder. My brothers, my older brothers and sisters, I'll probably always be that younger one, right? Even though I'm going towards 60. So we started talking about life in general, right? And my older siblings do a good job in having great principles and great morals. They because my parents were pretty strict on them when they were older, because they had lots of them. They had to keep them all in line. So they uphold my parents' principles and morale as part of their life. It just comes natural to them, right? And because that's how I see them. I have so much respect for them, and I love them so much. Maybe today we don't see each other as often because my kids are younger and my grandchildren are younger. And anyway, so while we're talking about life, right, my brother was just saying, this is what I should be doing. You should go to church. You should do this, right? Make it be a part of your life, because you need to teach your kids that. And you know, I have great teachers, and I have to be grateful for that. Even at my old age, I have to be grateful. I still have teachers today, and they're still alive.
Yeah.
And they always make sure they tell me and they remind me. Maybe at that point I get a little offended, because that's what we do as human beings. But I know they're right. I still think about it, and they're still around me. It was difficult to lose 3 brothers in 1 year, but we're always there to help each other. And I think, I mean, I'm not bragging, but I think I have one of the most beautiful families in our community, especially my brothers and sisters after my parents passed.
That's awesome.
You have to carry a legacy, right?
You do, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
True. Yeah, thank you, Pearl, for meeting with us and sharing your thoughts and your experiences. Yeah, Nish.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.